Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar from me on the sunny south coast today. It's just gone 1 o'clock, so we'll wait a few moments to give everyone a chance to join, and do feel free to drop into the Q&A box and say hi while we're waiting. We've switched off the chat feature as it can cause problems for some people that use screen readers, but the Q&A option is still live. So I can see a few more of you joining now. Okay, great. Glad you could all make it today. I think we'll make a start now. So hello everybody and welcome to our webinar, Empowering Seniors, 5 Essential Tips for Online Safety and Support. I'm Annie Mannion and I'm Digital Marketing Manager at AbilityNet, and I'll be running you through today's session. So just to go through a few bits of housekeeping, we have live captions provided by Tara at MyClearText, and you can turn on the captions using the CC option on the control panel. And additional captions are available via streamtext.net/player?event=AbilityNet. And you can also download the slides if you wish, and follow along via our website, which is abilitynet.org.uk/5tips. And if you have any technical issues or you need to leave early, then don't worry, you'll receive an email within the next week sharing the recording, the transcript and the slides. And then depending on how you joined the webinar, you'll find the Q&A window. So hello to Ivan, who's just popped in a hello in the Q&A. If you want to ask any questions, do drop those into the Q&A area. And just a reminder, we've switched off the chat feature as it can cause problems for some people using screen readers. So just use the Q&A during the webinar. And finally, we'll also have a feedback survey that you'll be directed to at the end. So please do complete that if you're able. So just moving on to explain a little bit more about AbilityNet, for those of you who aren't yet familiar with us. We're a charity that's now more than 25 years old, and we support older people and disabled people living with any disability or impairment to use technology to achieve their goals at home, at work and in education. And we do this by providing specialist advice, accessibility training and testing, and free information like our fact sheets and also this webinar. So today, discussing 5 essential tips for online safety and support, we have joining us Lucy Walsh, who is our AbilityNet BT Digital Skills Trainer for South Wales and surrounding areas. And Lucy's been providing digital confidence training to clients in the Cardiff and Bristol area for the past year or so. And we hope by the end of today, you'll have learned key ideas for how to be independent, entertained, and also safer online. So just before Lucy shares her advice, I'm just going to start with a quick poll to find out a bit more about you all here today. So let me just launch the poll, 1 moment. So can you tell us, how confident do you feel using apps on your digital device? Are you very confident, okay with some devices, apps and tools, not confident, not at all confident, or not applicable? And just a reminder, depending on how you joined the webinar, you may find that you can't access the poll, but you can respond in the Q&A panel. So just leave it a few more moments for a few more people to participate. Okay, and I'll end the poll now. And sharing the results, there's some great answers. Confident, very confident is 38% of you. Confidence 31%. 23% say you're okay with some devices, apps and tools. And then not confident, not at all confident, and not applicable is 3% each, and then 2% for not applicable. So I'll just stop sharing the poll now. And so, yeah, thank you for your responses. And for those of you who are looking for further tips and reassurance, we've got some great advice coming up for using tech further on a daily basis. So now Over to you, Lucy, to highlight your tips for online safety and support.
Thanks, Annie. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today, I'm going to talk through some tips, as Annie said, to help improve confidence, reduce isolation, and to highlight some areas where you can get some support regarding online safety. Next slide. So whilst the digital world is an incredible resource and it's helped us in so many different ways, our experience from talking to older people is that they often find it difficult to navigate it. And as a result, they don't often realise how it can benefit them in their daily lives. Moving on to the next slide. Research has shown us that people over 65 are more likely to be digitally excluded. 42% of over 65s have a disability. 36% of over 65s don't have the foundation digital skills. Some of the common reasons that people talk to me about for digital exclusion include them being unable to access any training or support, or not knowing where to get training or support, lack of awareness of how digital skills could help. And the most common one is fear around breaking or losing information on a device, and also fear around online security. So we're going to have a little look at some of those things today. Next slide, please. Okay, so today we're going to cover 5 main areas where older people have told us that they feel they need the most support. That's going to be a little bit around online safety, using some tools to help save money, using technology to help people keep in touch, to feel informed and entertained, a little bit around accessibility, and also something around remembering passwords. And moving on to the next slide. Okay, so one of the first things that we'll need to be able to do in order to access most support online is to download an app. Apps or applications are easy ways to access what it is that we need. They provide quick access to favorite websites, for example, and they're easily downloaded just with a couple of clicks straight onto your device using either the App Store for an Apple device or the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. You can have as many apps as you like, and most of the apps are free, although be careful because some are chargeable. But it will tell you that when you go onto the App Store to download one. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Another way in which you may need to access support is by using QR codes. QR codes or quick response codes are simply links that help you access specific information on the internet more quickly. They're often used to provide access to online services. Sometimes they're showing them on our televisions now where it says hold your device over the QR code and it will take you through to a particular part of the internet. You would hold your device camera over the image and then tap onto the link when shown and it'll take you directly through to where you need to go. QR codes can be used on Apple and Android devices. Some Android devices may require you to download an app beforehand to allow you to access that. And that app is called a QR reader. So we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so we said we'd have a little look at staying safer online. A great app that you may want to use is something called Ask Silver. Ask Silver is a simple tool that anyone with a smartphone can use to protect themselves from scams. Users would simply upload a screenshot of any text, email, or website that they're suspicious about, and using the power of AI, Ask Silver will instantly check on the communication in question and indicate whether it's safe or a red flag. It'll then suggest some next steps to help you stay safe online. When users are signed up, you'll receive an email with a QR code to scan, and that opens WhatsApp, and that's how you will communicate with Ask Silver. You would then upload any screenshot of anything that you needed to have checked onto WhatsApp, and you can also report scams to the authorities with just one tap at the end of the check. Ask Silver is a free app, and that's easily downloadable onto your device. Moving on to the next one. So older people also told us that something that they're concerned about is saving money. One of the best ways of saving money is by shopping online. Shopping online is quick and convenient, and it can be done from the comfort of your own home or even when you're out and about. We would always recommend that you use online retailers with a good reputation, such as well-known supermarkets, high street shops, or established online stores. You can have goods delivered directly to your house, and that can sometimes be free, or you could use click and collect, where you can order online but collect the item in store. This means that you spend less time in the shop. And one of the main benefits of shopping online, of course, is that it offers many more discounts than shopping locally. We're moving on to the next slide. Uswitch is an online comparison and switching site. Switching suppliers can save you hundreds of pounds on their bills, and it's easy to do. You can save money on gas, electricity, heating, insurance, home, phone communications, and personal finance products. The aim is to help you take advantage of the best prices and services on offers from suppliers. And like shopping, you may very well get a better deal by signing up online too. Generally, Uswitch can save people around about £365 or more a year. They have an excellent rating on Trustpilot, and that's an easily downloadable app for you to access Uswitch comparison site. Moving on to the next one. So at the beginning, we talked about sometimes older people are saying to us that they would like to use technology to be entertained, to help them feel less isolated. One way in which you could do that is by listening to BBC Sounds as an example. You can listen to radio, music, documentary features online. It's also the home of BBC Radio. It's a free entertainment app. It can provide access to favourite music or podcasts. Podcasts are audio episodes that will be based on a particular theme. There are other radio and podcast apps available for you. And moving on to the next slide. On entertainment and information, you may want to watch TV on demand. Watching TV programmes or films online is a great way to feel more informed and less isolated, and you can do this from the comfort of your own home or when you're out and about. BBC iPlayer, 4OD or ITVX are examples of ways that you can catch up for free. Disney, Netflix and Prime Video are subscription channels where you would pay a monthly fee to join and watch from there. There are lots of different on-demand and subscription channels, again, available via apps. Moving on to the next one. YouTube is a video sharing website. It makes it easy to watch online videos. You could, if you wanted to, create and upload your own videos to share with others. For an example, there are exercise videos to help you keep active. There are how-to videos to help you remain more independent and content on special interests or hobbies, so you could learn a whole new skill. YouTube is free. However, you may be shown adverts if you choose not to subscribe to it. We're going to move on to the next slide. At the beginning, we mentioned that older people sometimes talk to us a little bit about tips in terms of accessibility. This is one you could take a look at. This is Seeing AI. Seeing AI is a free app that narrates the world around you. You could download the app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. It's designed with and for the blind and low vision community. Seeing AI assists with daily tasks from reading, describes photographs, and identifies products. It's simple to use. You could point your camera at some text, for example, a paragraph in a document, or a prescription, or a menu, or a sign, and Seeing AI will read it aloud for you. We'll move on to the next one. Be My Eyes is another accessibility tool available via an app online. It's a free mobile app, and it makes the world more accessible for blind and low vision people. It connects blind and low vision people with sighted volunteers through a live video call. It's a simple interface, it's easy to use, it's clear and informative, and there are video demonstrations on how to use it. The sighted volunteers will assist the user by seeing through the phone's camera lens and giving a real-time description of what they see. And we'll move on to the next one. There are other accessibility features that you could put in place on your own device. Some of the tools include making the text bigger and making it easier to read. You could have things read aloud to you through your device. You could add captions onto videos, and you could speak into your device. For example, if you wanted to send a WhatsApp message or a text message, just by a simple tap, you would be able to speak into the device and it would send that for you, type it up and send it for you. And you could talk to your device by saying, "Hey Siri," "Hey Google," or "Hey Alexa." Accessibility features are generally available via the settings. There you go, that was mine working. Accessibility features are available via the settings or the Google Assistant on your device. And going back to YouTube, if you wanted to know how to use it, there are many step-by-step videos available on YouTube to show you just how to do that. All you would do is you would type "how do I" also into Google to access them. Okay, we're going to move on to the next slide. Sometimes it's difficult to remember your passwords. We're all using lots and lots of different websites and very often using different passwords to access them. Older people have told us in particular it's very difficult for them to remember them, and it's helpful to have somewhere safe to keep those passwords. An example here is Dashlane. Dashlane is an app and it simplifies password management. Your logins and personal information are always encrypted. The encryption is scrambled. It scrambles your data so nobody can read it. Not even Dashlane is able to access that information. You can instantly create and store strong, unique passwords for all of your logins and help you protect your digital identity. You can autofill passwords, personal data, and payment details, which would also save you time. Dashlane is a shortcut that it helps you to do everything online faster and more safely. And we'll move on to the next one. Some other tips to help you stay safer online: making sure that antivirus software is up to date. Using passwords that are not easily guessed is also an important tip. Making sure that there are capital letters, lowercase, numbers, exclamation marks. Beware of selecting any links within emails, messages, or social media that will then move on to ask you to add in your card or your bank details. Links are generally identified by being in blue, and they may have a little underline underneath them. And when you click on them, it takes you to a different section, a different platform of the internet. If it's something that you've not asked for, we'd always suggest that you don't click that link. There are a couple of websites here that you might want to have a little look at. We've shown you on the slide here. GetSafeOnline.org is the UK's leading internet safety website. And Have I Been Pawned allows you to search across multiple data breaches to see if your email address or phone number has been compromised. One of the most important things to do in terms of staying safer online, of course, is to stop and think. If you're online and you're finding that you're getting your wallet or your debit card or your bank details for any reason, stop and think before you input any information into your device. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, so in summary, we've looked at 5 easy ways to help older people feel more empowered, feel more safer, and hopefully more confident online. We looked a little bit at Ask Silver, a free app to help identify scams online and improve online safety. We looked at USwitch and accessing shopping online as some tips to help you save money. In terms of reducing isolation, we talked about using technology to access information and entertainment online by touching on BBC Sounds, YouTube, and maybe subscription TV. We mentioned Seeing AI and Be My Eyes, and also we talked through some simple adjustments that you would be able to access by using the settings on your phone. And we mentioned a little bit about Dashlane as an example of a free app that would help you to remember and manage your passwords. Moving on to the next slide. And that's over to you. Thanks, Annie.
Thanks so much, Lucy. Some great ideas there to take away and try out. And just before I share some more resources with you, just a quick reminder that you can access all the slides via our webinar page at abilitynet.org.uk/5 tips. And the recording will be added to the page after this broadcast. So moving on to the next slide, as part of AbilityNet's partnership with BT Group to help older people and disabled adults master the digital world, we were delighted to gain the support of Moira Stuart recently, which you might have noticed in the news. She spent some time with a group of older people travelling on a coach from Birmingham to Blenheim Palace to learn digital skills, and in particular about how to detect and avoid online scams. And as part of that day, Moira recorded a little snippet of tips for us to play today. So Kelly, in the background, if you wouldn't mind playing Moira's nuggets of digital advice.
Now, my top tips for keeping safe online. The first one is set up a group chat amongst family and friends. The next one is a news app, number 2, and that is to keep abreast of current affairs. Reach out for help whenever you need it. Yes, with family and friends, but there's also BT Group and AbilityNet, the charity that will help you become a professor of getting back at the scammers.
Great, thank you for that, Kelly. And just to note that you can learn more about the day and some other advice about online scams via /Moira Stuart. And just to follow with some more information about the BT Digital Skills Partnership, if you aren't already aware, we have opportunities for free in-person digital skills support as part of this partnership. That's available to older people over 65 and disabled people in London, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh, the east coast of Scotland, Newcastle, Cardiff and surrounding areas. And you can find out more and register at abilitynet.org.uk/BT Digital Skills. And you can ask for training on topics including staying safer online, using social media, booking a GP appointment, banking and shopping online, and lots more. So do get in touch. And if you don't live in those areas outlined, do please give us a call on 0300 180 0028, and one of the AbilityNet team can help connect you with one of our local volunteers. So I'm sure you've all got a lot of questions that you'd like us to ask Lucy. So please do fire away in the Q&A window and we'll answer as many as we can during the session. I can see a few of you have asked some questions already. So I'll just go through some of the questions. We've got a question here from Anna Wright. Is there a phone number for Ask Silver 2? While Lucy was finishing her presentation, I was just having a look. I can't seem to find one at the moment, but there is a get in touch option on the Ask Silver website. So hopefully you'll be able to contact them through that. But we'll do some investigation, and if there's a phone number available, we'll put that on the web page after the session today.
They are accessible via WhatsApp. So that's how
Okay.
it works, Annie. So any questions that you have, I think you would be able to use it through there. But I've not found a phone number at the moment for them. Yeah.
Thank you. And then another question from Anna was about so that we're talking today about highlighting the benefits of being online and some of the ways that you can make sure you're staying safer online. But what about the framing of in terms of the digital world not being made or designed for older users in mind? I think we highlight in lots of our sessions and some of our fact sheets on our website about different accessibility settings that are available. I just wondered if you wanted to mention a bit more about that, Lucy.
Yeah, so we've covered a couple of them. I guess it depends what the question means. Does it mean in terms of the whole element of the digital world doesn't feel accessible to older people? And I guess you could say that's what we're here to assist with. I visit lots of older people throughout South Wales and into the West, and that's often how they will start by saying they don't feel that it's for them, that it's accessible for them. And through just patient support and doing one thing one step at a time, they start to learn that once you have almost become familiar with how these devices work in terms of, for example, downloading an app, and then everything is available just from a few clicks away, they find it easy to then move on to the next thing. It's about having that confidence, I think, to begin with, and that's what AbilityNet can help with. But in terms of accessibility features, for example, one of the things a lot of the people I work alongside struggle with is even just tapping onto the device. The advice we would use there is to talk into the device just by one click. You can speak into a device and it can send a message for you. But also these styluses are really useful, using a stylus to tap on the keyboard, because sometimes our skin isn't good enough, or our fingers aren't good enough to use the keyboard. That's another quick and simple thing that you can do. Making sure that it's loud enough, making sure that the text is big enough. So yeah, those are some things that we could do. But also my advice is just to be patient with the device. Sometimes people think it does more than it actually can, and perhaps it's smarter than it is. But it's just important to pay attention to what it's asking you to do, and just to take it one step at a time.
And also, just to highlight, we have a kind of microsite called My Computer My Way, which gives lots and lots of advice about different devices that you might be using, and how to, step-by-step advice about how to change the settings and access those different accessibility settings. So it's worth having a look, and having a look on My Computer My Way, and we'll put the link on the web page, and hopefully you'll be able to have a look at that. So we also had a question from Richard, which we've also had a separate question come in about that too. Richard is asking, you're assuming that people are using the internet, and for this particular session, yes. But what about the people that are frightened about even using the internet? How do you build the confidence to take that step and use the internet?
I think the first thing to remember is that it's something that you would only use if you needed to or wanted to. Sometimes I go into sessions and people will come along. If I'm at a drop-in session, for example, some people will come along and I'll talk to them about using their digital device or accessing the internet, and they say, I don't want to. And I say, well, are you happy with the way everything is? And they'll say, yes, I am. And I'll say, well, then you don't need to. We're not here to force people onto something that they're worried about using. So I think that's the first thing to say. I think it's important to remember that there are lots of tools available to show you how to do it. As you said, My Computer My Way is a great example, and even using your device initially to show you how to use it and to get used to maneuvering and moving around and navigating the internet as an example. And I think it's just about asking for help. Nobody necessarily taught us how to use them. And so how would you know if nobody's shown you? So if it is something that you're interested in venturing into, then the first step, I think, is to ask for help. That can be done obviously through AbilityNet, and have faith that when you work alongside one of the volunteers or digital skills trainers, we are very used to helping people from what I would call entry level. I've worked with people who don't know how to turn the device on. So we'll do that first. They don't know what to say to Google, how to search, and we'll do that with them. It's step by step, I think, Annie, one thing at a time.
That leads nicely on to a comment from somebody called Karen within the Q&A, just assumptions about older people not being able to cope with technology, but a lot of older people, of course, are very good at technology. And
oh yeah,
if you can explain a bit more about your experiences within the BT digital skills training sessions. You do a lot of sessions in person and also online, and if you can explain a bit more about our thinking behind.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We don't assume. That's what, if we walk into a room and assume, then, you know, we'll lose the group immediately. So what we're interested in when we go into a group is finding out the levels there. Yeah. So people's ability, and using volunteers. If we are in the room with people, we are able to navigate the different levels of ability in the room. So, you know, we may have a group of people who are really interested in AI, for example. We would be able to help them with that. And I say, at the other side of the room, we may have somebody who doesn't know how to send a text message. We're able to help with that. We don't assume at all. I've met plenty of older people who know their way around their mobile phone far better than I do. So yeah, we are there to help you to use the internet, to help you use your digital device and navigate the digital world in the way that you want to, whether that's from entry level or far more experienced.
Okay, thank you. We've had a question about seeing AI, and so just a bit more information to share about that. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can download Seeing AI for free from the App Store. If you have an Android device, you can download it for free from the Google Play Store, and the icon features a sky blue background and a white sort of abstract outline of an eye that's also got an S in the center. So yeah, hopefully the person who's asked that should be able to find it that way. But if not, please do get in contact with us and we can share some information with you outside of the webinar. So another question here we have, can you walk us through a little bit more of the step-by-step process for setting up strong passwords? I know you touched on it earlier, but maybe a little bit more about that, particularly in the light of online scams.
Yeah, absolutely. The advice we would give is, if you're not using a password management system like Dashlane that we've suggested that because it's free to use. The advice is to obviously use something memorable. That's the first thing, but not something that's easily guessed. We would have a mix of capital letters, lowercase, and what we call special characters as well. So that would be an exclamation mark or a star or something like that. And that would be the advice. Not to leave it with your device, of course. Not forgetting now that many devices are using facial recognition. Or thumb recognition or finger recognition. So that takes the pain of that away a little bit. It depends on what kind of device that you're using. But the advice is to use something that is generally at least 8 digits, 8 characters rather. Use numbers, capitals, lowercase, and also a special character.
Okay, great advice. And we do you have more information? We've got some fact sheets about setting strong passwords and more information on our website. So we'll highlight that again on the recording page that you'll be sent a link to after this session. So just moving on to a few more questions. A question from Samantha. Can seniors in Northern Ireland access the digital skills training? So at the moment, the in-person training isn't available, but we do have tech volunteers that are able to come and speak to you in your area. So please do, if you get in contact with AbilityNet, they should be able to help you and send somebody either in person or to chat with you online about any questions you have. But Lucy, I don't know if you've got anything else to say about that.
No, nothing to add. No, nothing to add.
So another question, what role can family members and caregivers play in supporting seniors' online safety?
Yeah. My experience is that family members they like to help out, but they like to the older person to remember it and not to ask them again. So family members, whilst they're great, can often be a little impatient sometimes. That's what I hear and what I understand, and you can understand that. Family members obviously are a great start, aren't they? But very often we don't want to put on them. Yeah, we don't want to keep asking them. You know, my advice is, if it's a family member that's asking or a caregiver that's asking, just step by step. Yeah, one thing at a time. Repetition is great, and making sure that we're only teaching what the person needs and wants. Sometimes, because these devices are so vast in terms of what they can do, family members, caregivers can often overrun and overwhelm the person that they're trying to help and say, look, it does this, it does this, it also does that. And that's great. But very often we need to remember just to focus on, if this person wants to understand how to download a bus timetable app, then let's just download that bus timetable app. Show them how to work through it and use realistic scenarios, but also to allow then that person to have a go themselves, because having a go yourself will help you to retain that information.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really good advice. And sort of a related question is, what about the particular misconceptions about online safety, or being online, that you have encountered?
Misconceptions about online safety.
People's fears or expectations that
okay, yeah. So at AbilityNet, we run Staying Safer Online courses. And the misconception that I experience more often than not is that people are nervous of being, how they would see it, hacked. Their understanding is that somebody is hacking into their bank account because, for example, they've downloaded an online banking app. So they think that by downloading that app, it will make them vulnerable to hackers, for want of a better word. Throughout the course, what we actually learn is that for the majority of the time, the reason that people are scammed, not just older people, but the reason people are scammed is because it's actually them that tend to give away their information. So it's not necessarily a hacker hacking into the bank account. It's more the fact that we've read something through social media, through a text or an email, and we have taken it to be the truth. So somebody's offering me something. And then, as I said during the presentation, we will click on a link. And by clicking on that link, we will then go and get our debit or credit card or bank details and add our details into that, into our device. So more often than not, it's actually us that are giving the information away, as opposed to hackers hacking into our bank accounts. So I think that's one of the most common misconceptions. So we teach people just to, whatever you're reading, if you've not asked for it, if somebody has told you that there's a wonderful offer available just by clicking this link and adding in your bank account details so that you can have money dropped into your bank account, we need to stop and have a little think about that. So I think that's one of the most common ones. It's often us. Don't go for your purse with your phone in your hand.
Okay. And also from the other side, when it isn't user error, so Elizabeth has mentioned one of the frustrations I sometimes come across is that when the Apple service is actually down and it isn't user error, is there a down detector website you can recommend, and explain what that is as well, or a more user-friendly way of working out what a problem might be?
Is there a specific there? Sorry.
Is there a down detector website you can recommend for being able to work out whether whether a problem is a user error, or if it's actually an issue with the site? And there might be people on here that don't know what a down detector site is.
I think that's something that we need to go back to that person and or post an answer to that, Annie, if that's okay. That would involve me doing a little bit of research and coming back, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thanks.
We've had a great comment back from Ivan, saying that he has, I'm just trying to find it in the comments here. One moment. His comment was that he's had a look at Seeing AI, and it's amazing, very easy to use, able to read text, barcodes, surroundings, money, colour, and even the amount of light. So thank you, great tip.
Oh, that's nice. Also, another great tip, a relatively simple one, is doing things like taking a photograph of something, to make it bigger. On your mobile phone. Yeah, sometimes people will say they're out and about shopping and they're not able to read the labels, for example. But they do know how to take a photograph. And we'll sort of say, well, have you ever thought of taking a photograph of it and making it bigger? So, even if you were looking for something underneath your sofa, you may be able to pop your phone underneath it and take a photograph and then look to see whether or not you've dropped your keys underneath the sofa, things like that. So thinking outside the box sometimes, trying to remember what the device can do and then how we can use it. But that's good news to hear about seeing AI.
And then there's a question about AI, which is, a hot topic at the moment. It's everywhere in digital devices and apps. But what do you have particular advice about using AI related functionality safely? And is there any examples of apps to avoid, or maybe those that are particularly, safer with regards to AI?
Yeah. AI really is taking what a human says effectively and translating it into an action or words through a device. So that's simply what it is. So it's managed and run by the human. So for example, when you talk into your phone, that is effectively AI. Your voice is being turned into some text. Sometimes, although it can be quite magical for what we use it for, I think sometimes people feel terrified by it and think that it's going to take over our lives. It's important, I think, at our day-to-day level to remember that AI is managed by the human. We are giving information to a device. It's translating that information. There are things that you can use that can help you write content. So, if you were wanting to smarten up something that you were writing, AI can take a piece of content, for example, Copilot or something like that, and it can tidy it up, give a different version of what you're writing to fancy it up a little bit if that's what you want to do. In terms of safety around AI, I'm not sure that I would be able to advise on safety necessarily, Annie. That might be something that we'll look into and post some information if that would be okay.
Yeah, no problem. So a question from Barbara, and I think this is kind of key to some of the information and the advice that AbilityNet offers. She's asked, where do I get help when things go wrong? For example, my tablet's showing up nearly full. I need to know how to get more storage. Other technical stuff that I was never taught, and I think that's kind of key to.
It's an AbilityNet, yeah.
So if you could share some information about that, and I can do the same too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I guess depending on, we would have volunteers hopefully in your area, I would say, Barbara, and Annie will be posting or showing towards the end of the presentation how you can get in touch with AbilityNet. For free, you can ask to have a volunteer visit you in your home, or you may be part of a group where older people meet and volunteers or a digital skills trainer could come and visit you at that group. Bring your device along with you and we would be able to help you with that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you were going to say.
Yeah. Other questions that are coming through? This is an interesting question. I get a number of emails, text messages, and also WhatsApp messages. How do I choose between those forms of communication? Would you recommend, anything is it just personal preference, or?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah. My advice is not to be overwhelmed by it. Choose what you like and stick with what you like. They do have different options, pros and cons, I suppose. So for example, email is great if you want to read through a document. Yeah, attaching a document, sending a document to someone. So email would be preferable for that. In terms of WhatsApp is free to use, so it doesn't come out of you're not paying for it. It's great for maybe sending a video, sharing a video. You can also use your camera to do a bit of video calling. for free through WhatsApp with somebody across the other side of the world if you wanted to. And text message is still there being used. I still use a lot of text messaging going from phone to phone, but that may come out of your monthly usage. I think a lot of it is preference. A lot of it is preference.
Okay. And this might be a more technical question.
Okay.
So we may need to come back to it, but just find it. Do you know whether does Dashlane work on Windows, and if so, will it work cross-platform? So will your passwords on Windows be synchronized with your passwords on your mobile?
My understanding is yes, but we'll look into that and double check that. So from my understanding of researching Dashlane, the answer will be yes, but we'll post that one for sure.
Okay. And then another question, do you have any tips to help with the privacy settings? A lot of the exploits rely on people not managing privacy on various platforms. That was a comment from Ivan.
Yeah, it's important, isn't it? Social media, for example, to make sure that your privacy settings are set to whatever it is you choose. If they're not, then people may be able to view the content that you're posting. And from that, people can gain information about you and then potentially pose as somebody that they're not. We've heard a lot about friendship scams, relationship scams, those kinds of things. So it's really important to make sure that your privacy settings, if you want them set, are set to private, so you can avoid unwanted people contacting you or having a look at what you're posting. Yeah. And
just on that point, so I'll be mentioning in a little while about our upcoming webinars, but we have one on the 4th of December, which is looking at seasonal scams. So yeah, not just at particular times of the year there may be scams that are particularly rife. So yeah, please do come along to that and can learn more about the types of things to look out for at different times of year. Just a nearly last point to mention. Karen has said it can be difficult with family members in terms of getting advice about certain technical tweaks that you can make because they're busy people. So just really to highlight, that's where AbilityNet can really help by a neutral tech volunteer can be able to help and offer that technical advice that possibly other people don't have time to provide. So yeah, please do get in touch if you're looking for assistance. I think we've got time for just one more question before we finish off. Let me just look through here. Just a quick answer. I work, this is from Angie, I work with people with dementia. Would I be able to signpost our service users to yourselves for advice and support? Of course, yes, please do. Yeah, we're here to help with any questions from people that you'd like to ask for our help from. So yes, please do. And the website address is abilitynet.org.uk, and we'll share the phone number for getting in contact as well. So I think we'll finish up now with the questions, and hopefully you've learned lots from the responses. But thank you so much from Lucy and Tara with my clear text today, and also my colleague Kelly for helping out in the background. And just to share a bit more information that we've mentioned a bit about, as AbilityNet offers free IT support at home and online, plus a range of free tech-related fact sheets and webinars. So you can call our helpline on 0300 180 0028 and look for free tech support at /at-home. And if you'd like to become an AbilityNet volunteer in your area, please do get in contact at /volunteer. Next slide, please. So yes, we also run training sessions on digital accessibility and inclusion for groups in-house and also for individuals. So you can find out more at /training. And if you use the code AbilityNet webinar 10 when booking, you can save 10% on all our individual courses. We have courses on neurodiversity, hearing loss, sight loss, physical disabilities. And if you're here from an organisation, we have staff training options via e-learning that employees can complete online at any time. So please do check those out at /e-learning. And then finally, you can sign up to our newsletter for our latest advice about inclusion and our next free webinars, which you can access at /webinars. So thank you again to everyone who's joined us, and please do complete the feedback form that you'll be directed to, and we'll be in touch soon with the link to this recording and all the information that we mentioned earlier. So bye everyone, and hope to see you at the next session.